What if a coin that looks like an ordinary piece of change could actually become one of the most fascinating discoveries in a collector's hands? What if a small seven-sided coin from the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan, dated 2009, and carrying the portrait of King Abdullah II, could have a story connected to a value as high as $6,000? At first glance, that might sound unbelievable. After all, this is not an ancient gold coin buried for centuries, and it does not immediately look like a treasure from a forgotten empire. It is a modern circulation coin, but that is exactly what makes the story so interesting. In the world of numismatics, extraordinary value does not always come from extreme age. Sometimes it comes from rarity, condition, unusual production characteristics, errors, varieties, historical importance, or a combination of several factors that make one particular example different from thousands of ordinary coins. Today, we are taking a close look at the 2009 half dinar coin of the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan. This coin belongs to the modern Jordanian currency system and carries the portrait of King Abdullah II. Its distinctive bimetallic construction, unusual seven-sided shape, Arabic inscriptions, English wording, and dual calendar dating make it immediately recognizable. But the real question is not simply what this coin looks like. The real question is what could make one example dramatically more interesting and potentially much more valuable than a normal example. And that is where the mystery begins. Before we talk about money, we need to understand the coin itself. The denomination is 1/2 of a Jordanian dinar. The coin is part of a modern series issued during the reign of King Abdullah II. It is not an ancient relic, but it represents a specific period in Jordan's modern monetary and political history. On one side, the portrait of King Abdullah II dominates the design. Around that portrait are Arabic inscriptions identifying the king and the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan. On the opposite side, the denomination is presented within an elaborate design, accompanied by Arabic and English inscriptions and the date. The coin's shape is another feature that immediately attracts attention. Rather than being a simple circular coin, this half dinar has a seven-sided outline. It also uses a bimetallic construction, with a central portion surrounded by an outer ring. This gives the coin a distinctive appearance and separates it visually from many conventional coins found in circulation. For a casual observer, these features may simply make the coin look unusual. For a collector, however, every design element can become part of the identification process. The words, "The Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan," tell us exactly where this coin belongs. The Hashemite name has enormous historical importance in Jordan. The Hashemite dynasty has been closely connected with the modern history of the country, and the national currency reflects that identity. Coins are not merely objects used to buy goods. They are also miniature pieces of national history. Governments place portraits, symbols, inscriptions, dates, and denominations on coins because these objects travel through everyday life and carry national identity with them. Jordan itself has a fascinating monetary history. Modern Jordanian coinage developed through several stages as the country established and changed its monetary institutions. Different rulers, denominations, designs, and metals appeared over time. By the period of King Abdullah II, Jordan had developed a recognizable modern coin series that combined traditional Arabic design with modern manufacturing techniques. The 2009 half dinar belongs to this modern chapter of Jordan's monetary story. King Abdullah II became king of Jordan in 1999 after the death of his father, King Hussein. His portrait therefore places this coin firmly within the period of his reign. When collectors study modern Jordanian coins, they are not only studying metal and numbers, they are also looking at the political and historical period represented by each issue. A coin bearing the portrait of a reigning monarch becomes a small historical document. Now look closely at the portrait. The design is not random. The portrait communicates authority and connects the currency to the monarchy. The Arabic inscriptions surrounding the image reinforce that identity. On the reverse, the denomination and decorative elements provide a balance to the portrait's side. The combination of Arabic and English makes the coin accessible in both its national and international context. The date is another essential detail. The coin is dated 2009, and Jordanian coins of this period can also display the corresponding Islamic Hijri date. This dual dating system is particularly interesting because it connects the modern international calendar with the Islamic calendar. It is another example of how a relatively small object can contain multiple layers of information. But now we arrive at the part that attracts the most attention, the possible $6,000 value. If you see a video, social media post, or online listing claiming that a 2009 Jordanian half dinar is worth $6,000, the first thing you should do is slow down. Do not assume the claim is true, and do not assume it is false. Instead, ask a better question. What specific feature is supposed to make that particular coin valuable? That question is extremely important. A normal circulation coin and a rare collectible example can look almost identical to someone who does not know what to look for. The difference may be a tiny production characteristic, a verified mint error, a rare variety, an exceptional condition, or documentation proving that the coin is something unusual. Without that evidence, a large price claim is only a claim. This is one of the most important lessons in coin collecting. A coin is not automatically valuable because someone has written a high price next to it. Online sellers can list coins at almost any asking price, but an asking price does not necessarily represent what collectors are actually willing to pay. A completed transaction, auction record, professional appraisal, or reliable catalog information provides much stronger evidence. That is why the number $6,000 should be treated carefully. It can be presented as a potential or claimed value associated with an extraordinary example, but it should not be presented as the guaranteed value of every 2009 Jordan half dinar. An ordinary example may be worth only a modest amount above its face value, depending on condition and the collector market. The existence of a high-value claim does not transform every coin from the same year into a rare treasure. So what could potentially change the situation? One possibility is a genuine mint error. Mint errors happen during the manufacturing process when something goes wrong during the production of a coin. Depending on the nature and rarity of the error, collectors can sometimes place a premium on such pieces, but identifying an actual mint error requires knowledge. A coin that has been damaged after leaving the mint is not automatically a mint error. For example, a scratch across the surface may simply be damage from circulation. A dent along the edge could have happened after the coin entered the public. Discoloration could result from environmental exposure. A strange mark could be caused by contact with another object. None of these things automatically create a valuable error coin. A genuine minting error is connected to the production process itself. This distinction is critical because the internet is filled with photographs of damaged coins being described as rare errors. Beginners can easily become confused. That is why serious collectors compare unusual coins against known examples and seek expert opinions when necessary. Another possibility is a rare variety. A variety is different from an accidental error. It can result from a particular die, design variation, or other production difference that distinguishes one group of coins from another. Some varieties are well documented and recognized by collectors. Others may be extremely minor and have little or no effect on value. This is why simply finding a small difference does not guarantee a huge price. Collectors need to know whether that difference is recognized, whether it is genuinely unusual, how many examples are known, and whether there is actual demand for it. Condition is another major factor. Imagine two coins produced in the same year. Both have the same denomination, same portrait, same design, and same date. One coin has spent years circulating through shops, pockets, cash registers, and daily transactions. Its surface is covered with marks, its highest details are worn, and its original appearance has been affected by handling. The second coin was carefully stored from the moment it was released. Its surfaces remain sharp, the design details are strong, and there is little evidence of circulation. These two coins may have completely different collector appeal. This is why grading is so important in numismatics. Professional grading organizations examine coins and assign grades based on condition and other characteristics. A high-grade example of a common coin may be more desirable than a heavily damaged example, although condition alone does not automatically make a common coin extremely valuable. For a modern 2009 coin, this becomes particularly relevant because it is not ancient. Collectors cannot simply rely on age to create value. The coin needs another reason to stand out. Rarity is therefore one of the key questions. How many were produced? How many survive today? How many are in excellent condition? Are there known varieties? Are there documented errors? Is there strong collector demand? These questions help explain why one coin can be worth more than another, even when both carry exactly the same date. The weight and dimensions of a coin can also be useful when investigating a suspected rarity. The standard specifications provide a reference point. If a coin is significantly different from the expected specifications, that may justify further investigation. But again, an unusual measurement does not automatically prove a rare error. A difference could be caused by wear, damage, contamination, measurement equipment, or another factor. That is why collectors should not jump to conclusions. Instead, they compare, they measure, they research, they photograph, and when necessary, they authenticate. The edge of the coin deserves attention too. Beginners often focus only on the front and back, but the edge can contain important information. An unusual edge, missing feature, or production characteristic may help specialists understand how a coin was made. However, edge damage is also common on circulated coins, so careful examination is necessary. The same principle applies to the lettering. Look at the Arabic inscriptions. Examine their spacing and alignment. Look at the English wording around the outer ring. Compare the lettering to confirmed examples of the same type. Look at the date. Compare the numerals. Check whether the design appears centered and consistent. This process may sound complicated, but it is exactly what makes coin collecting so fascinating. A collector learns to see things that most people overlook. To most people, a coin is simply money. To a numismatist, it can be a combination of history, art, engineering, politics, manufacturing, and economics. A coin can tell you who ruled a country, what language was used, what denomination existed, what calendar system was recognized, what metals were available, and what technology was used to manufacture the piece. The 2009 Jordanian Half Dinar is a perfect example of this. It connects a modern denomination with the Hashemite monarchy. It combines Arabic and English. It uses a distinctive bimetallic structure. It has an unusual seven-sided shape. It carries both a modern date and a Hijri date, and it was produced during the reign of King Abdullah II. All of these features make it an interesting collectible even before we discuss extraordinary value. But the $6,000 claim adds another layer of mystery. Could there be a particular example with a characteristic that ordinary examples do not have? Could a rare error or variety explain an unusually high valuation? Could an exceptional grade make a specimen much more desirable? Or could the high number simply be an exaggerated online claim? Without a verified specimen and reliable market evidence, we cannot honestly say that every 2009 half dinar is worth $6,000, and that honesty is important. Coin collecting should be based on evidence. If you own this coin, you should not immediately assume that you have a fortune, but you also should not throw it aside without examining it carefully. Start with the basics. Confirm the denomination, confirm the year, confirm the country, confirm the design, then compare the coin with reliable references. After that, examine its condition. Is the portrait sharply defined? Are the inscriptions clear? Are the surfaces heavily scratched? Is there unusual damage? Does the coin appear to have been cleaned or polished? Are the edges normal? Does the weight correspond reasonably with known specifications? If something looks genuinely unusual, document it before doing anything else. Take clear photographs of the front and back. Take photographs of the edge. Use good lighting. Avoid excessive filters or digital editing. Record the weight and measurements. Then compare the results with established references, and most importantly, do not clean the coin. This is advice that every beginner should remember. Cleaning a coin may seem like a harmless way to make it look better, but aggressive cleaning can damage the original surface. Once the surface has been altered, it cannot simply be restored to its original condition. For collectors, original surfaces can be important, so if you think you have something unusual, leave it alone. Preservation is usually better than experimentation. Another important point is authenticity. Modern collectible coins can also be copied, altered, or misrepresented. A genuine-looking photograph does not prove authenticity. If a coin is supposedly worth thousands of dollars, professional authentication becomes even more important. Imagine someone tells you that your coin is worth $6,000. Would you sell it immediately? Probably not. First, you would want to know why. You would want evidence. You would want a professional opinion. You would want to know whether similar coins have actually sold for comparable prices, and you would want to make sure that the coin is genuine. This is the difference between a coin enthusiast and a careful collector. A careful collector does not chase a price tag. A careful collector investigates the coin. That is especially important because high-value coin claims can spread rapidly online. One person may post a dramatic price. Another person copies the claim. A third person makes a video about it. Soon, thousands of people may believe that an ordinary coin is worth thousands of dollars, but repetition does not create evidence. A claim remains a claim until it is supported. So when you hear that a 2009 Jordan Half Dinar is worth $6,000, ask yourself, $6,000 for what? For an ordinary circulated example, for a rare error, for a specific variety, for an exceptionally graded specimen, for a coin with documented provenance? Those are completely different situations. The answer matters. This is also why auction records are valuable. If an unusual coin has actually sold for a significant amount, a documented sale provides much stronger evidence than an online listing with a high asking price. Collectors can then examine the exact characteristics of the sold coin and compare them with their own example. That comparison is essential. Two coins can look similar in photographs while being very different in grade, authenticity, rarity, or production characteristics. One may be genuine, the other may be altered. One may have a recognized variety, the other may simply have circulation damage. One may have exceptional surfaces, the other may have been cleaned. That is why professional expertise matters. Now let's return to the history represented by the coin. The Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan is a constitutional monarchy in the Middle East, and its currency is the Jordanian dinar. The name of the kingdom appears directly on the coin, turning the piece into a miniature representation of the nation. The portrait of King Abdullah II adds another historical layer. Whenever a monarch appears on currency, the coin becomes connected to that ruler's period. Years later, collectors can identify the era simply by looking at the portrait and date. This is one reason modern coins can be historically interesting even when they are not particularly rare. They document everyday life. Millions of people may have handled these coins without thinking about their historical importance. They may have been used in shops, carried in wallets, stored in drawers, or eventually placed into collections. Over time, some examples disappear, some are damaged, some are lost, some are melted or discarded, others survive in excellent condition, and a small number may survive with unusual characteristics. That is how the collector world becomes interesting. The ordinary becomes historical, the forgotten becomes collectible, and the overlooked detail becomes the center of attention. The 2009 date also places the coin in a relatively recent period. This means collectors should be especially cautious when they see extremely high valuations. Modern coins often exist in large numbers, so there must be a strong reason for an ordinary example to reach an extraordinary price. That reason must be demonstrated. This is where the concept of scarcity becomes important. A coin does not have to be extremely old to be scarce. A modern coin can become scarce in a particular variety or condition. If only a small number of examples are known, collectors may compete for them. But scarcity and demand must work together. A coin can be rare and still have limited value if almost nobody wants it. Another coin can have strong demand because collectors actively pursue it. The highest prices usually appear when rarity, condition, demand, and historical or technical significance come together. That is why the $6,000 figure should be treated as a possibility associated with a special example rather than the normal value of the entire issue. If you are making a YouTube video about this coin, this distinction also makes the story more credible. Instead of simply saying, "This coin is worth $6,000, a stronger and more responsible story is, "Could a special example of this coin be worth thousands? Here is what collectors need to investigate." That creates curiosity without making an unsupported guarantee, and it gives viewers something useful. They learn what to look for, they learn how to verify a coin, they learn why condition matters, they learn why errors matter, and they learn why online prices should be treated carefully. The coin's physical design itself is also worth appreciating. The bimetallic construction requires the center and outer ring to work together. The seven-sided shape gives the coin a distinctive identity. The portrait creates a strong focal point on one side, while the denominate